Good morning to all, and here is my favorite openSUSE distribution. Here is version 13.1. So, after such a happy acquaintance of mine with version 13.2, I decided to get acquainted with version 13.1, because I was scolded by users that I could not somehow correctly, or rather did not find an approach to this distribution. I decided to add another 300 megabytes of RAM, because I was told that a gigabyte is not enough for this distribution, preferably as much RAM as possible. Here is a completely different graphical shell, well, as if it is also called when I am, but for example in Debian. For some reason it works without breaks on gigabytes of RAM, yes, despite the fact that there are 4 to 8 versions. But here, it is desirable, well, at least 1.5 gigs, for at least virtual boxing starts, preferably 2. And best of all for comfortable work of all, even 8 or 16 gigabytes. A 4 or 8 core processor is desirable. Here, that's what. Well, here we go. Here is such a thing in front of you. It's like everything is advertising, everything is told that this is cool. Press the button. So, here we have the system settings. How fast they load. Here, yes. Well, in general, openSUSE as well, probably the best distribution in the world. Okay, let's close it. Close. I wonder if we have to see how much is given. Yes, that's how it should be. That's how it should be. Let's see. So, utilities are probably not here. So, I don't remember where it is anymore, just everything. The system. I need a system monitor in one interest. Well, what's eating so much here? I don't understand. 721 meters. Damn. The version is not 64-bit. I'm afraid to imagine what would have happened if I had run a 64-bit version under the emulator. 64-bit do by default. There's nothing running at all. Eating geek. Here 32-bit, eats 721 meters, and this is a stable version. They threw at me that I don't understand this greatest distribution in the world at all. And I ran into him in vain. I was told to try the stable version. That's what they wrote. You finished it off. Why did you launch the unstable version at all? I'll try a stable one. I'm trying. Here, let me remind you that I radiate rays of kindness to this distribution in the same way as Fedora, because like Fedora, openSUSE is such a test ground for SUSE Enterprise, which is sold for money, or rather support. Somehow it is developing strangely. He's stuck on the 2011 version, and that's where he is. I do not know if another version will be released or not. I also noticed that they still returned to Dolphin. More precisely, they did not return, they started using Dolphin as the main file manager. Before that they had a competition. In this distribution, there are probably the best CDs as far as they all say, although I believe that this is not the case. But, I will not deny that the community at openSUSE makes a great contribution to the development of the CD shell. Here, well, maybe I'm wrong about something. That is, they essentially fix buggy CD for other normal distributions. Here, the same, probably, Jesus Enterprise will work much better, but there is nothing for me to do, take more and pay money for it. Why would I do that? The programs here are, well, quite default. Firefox, or Office, Lobster, Dickum Dolphin. So well guys, well it's okay. The distribution should at least have been a video player to cram in. How can I supply a distribution kit without a video player? But they shoved games here. Why the fuck are they needed here, these cards? Somehow, once again, I notice that the selection of software is quite strange. Started the Hooves accidentally. I started it by accident. Well, what can I say? There are no comrades for taste and color. Maybe I'm wrong about something, and I can agree that I am wrong, that this distribution is useless. This is a test site where such lunksoids are pedophiles because they test packages mostly young. Test package pedophiles test software for more normal distributions. Who even has to do it? Here. Therefore, everything is probably already so clear here. I will not return to the alleged openSUSE anymore. I don't like these polygons. In other distributivity, for example, there are test branches. Here, for example, as there is in Debian, it is rarely a stable. For example, there is a test 1. There is also a stable where you can test old packages or rather new packages, which will then fall into the stable branch. Let's say there are intermediate versions in the Ubuntu family, and the stable version is the else. Let's say it's the same with Roslyn. There is an else version and intermediate versions. For example, as they have an Enterprise X1 Marathon there, this is a stable version. If new fresh, Rosa Linux fresh for example, there are P2, P3, P4, these are intermediate versions, where more recent packages are used, and are not completely stable. Although, probably, if you compare them with Feder Ichua, their stability is not at a high level. Here everyone still tells me about this control center, that it is very convenient, not for red-eyed people. Probably, it was necessary to add another G-co-op or two, so that it would start well. Well, I wish the users of the insulin happiness, more natural sex. Here, less stress. Here, the rays of goodness. Well, carrot juice in the morning. This, I think, is the end of the review. All the best.